With the 28th pick of the 2020 MLB Draft, the New York Yankees select Austin Wells, a catcher from the University of Arizona.
The question with Wells is, where is he going to play defensively?
He's played the outfield, he's played some first base.
The Yankees are buying on the bat.
Maybe another guy that you send out as a catcher and see what happens.
Shoulder surgery, that was a bit of a red flag.
He's not a great receiver. His biggest flaw, he needs work defensively.
It was probably 2 to 3 months into the low A season here in Tampa. Wasn't having a lot of success with some of the new stuff, like learning the one knee down catching. It was probably like a small window of time where I was like, screw this, like this sucks.
And Austin was coming off a really bad game, and so him and I were doing a video review. I just looked at Austin in the eyes and said, hey man, do you want to play this position? Like, do you want to be a catcher?
Hearing him asking me if I still wanted to catch, like totally, I honestly, I got pissed off.
And he looked at me, he's like, Gersh, I want to catch.
And since then, it was like night and day difference. Okay, Rocket League. I guess neither word describes the game. Rocket League makes no sense. It's soccer with cars, and that's as simple as it gets. Last night we were playing a tournament and we won and made it to the semifinals, and it was the best feeling in the world, and then we lost. And it was the worst feeling in the world. It was not fun. It's not fun. I always knew I wanted to catch from when I was 6. I knew deep down that being the catcher was exactly what I wanted to do and who I wanted to be. All I heard was like, you could possibly move positions, not a great catcher, and that 100% drove me even harder to want to be the best catcher that I could be.
Hey, I want 3 of them though. 1, 2, 3. That's how many wins we were short last year.
3 wins short? So let's get the 3. We remember every day.
Every day.
The hit ability was pretty obvious, right? You don't draft a player in the first round unless they possess that skill set, and he certainly checked that box. But I think the other piece was just the aptitude. I think the makeup, which can be really hard to identify, to quantify. I think people really believed that, hey, this kid has the right mentality, that whatever his perceived weaknesses are, he's going to figure out a way to get better. And this guy really has what it takes, the intangibles to play in New York, to handle everything that comes with that.
So when I looked at Austin when he was at Arizona and helping out Damon in amateur scouting, essentially every year there's certain players that immediately stick out that's like, all right, this guy could be a really good fit. Because he raked. Like, you saw Austin in college and he swung it really, really well. And that's the base of a lot of what we want in our catchers, is catchers who can really swing it.
Going to Arizona was the best thing that could happen for my career. Getting to play with that group of guys and under the coaching staff that we had, I felt like it leveled up just everything about my game, learning how to work. I feel like I had a decent work ethic going in and thought I knew what I needed to do to be prepared to play, but going to college and realizing how much more was actually out there to learn and to feel myself and learn about myself, I feel like that was what kind of took it to the next level for me.
Yeah, anytime you select a catcher in the first round, the catching coaches here, we were all very excited. So everyone kind of dives into that video and sees where the room for growth is. And typically with anyone coming into the organization new or into pro ball new, there's going to be a lot of room for growth. And so that's something we're always happy to sink our teeth in as soon as they get here.
He needed to get better as a thrower. He needed to get better as a receiver. He needed to get better as a blocker.
I think he obviously heard the criticisms, right? And I think some were deserved early, honestly. I mean, he'd be the first to tell you that he needed to get better on that side of the ball.
I mean, what they said was true. Like, there was definitely, if I was watching myself catch, like looking back now, I'm like, that looks horrible. Like, but that was with minimal coaching and just kind of raw. So I would definitely give myself similar reviews coming out of college that were out there for sure.
It was clear that there was polish needed within his skill set. But what was also clear is that he hasn't come close to tapping in to the maximum level of his ability.
That's literally all.
Yeah, that's a 0%er they just called strike. It happens. Happens with you a lot. Bang.
Yeah, I think the pandemic created an opportunity for us to kind of build out a remote kind of platform or program, which Gersh spearheaded, and I think we put together a really good program, not just for Austin, but for all of our remote guys.
I think in that period of time, I was able to, just build a relationship with him. I hadn't met him yet, just through Zoom calls, FaceTime, things of that nature. The first time I met him was 2021 Major League Spring Training.
Come on, Big Daddy.
Come on, Big Daddy. And like we gave each other a big hug, and it was like we'd known each other for years, but we never met each other. Everything was just remote, and I give him a ton of credit during that time period because he attacked everything within his skill set. He took all the coaching we provided to him, applied it in his training environment at home, and by the time he got to spring training in 21, he was most definitely a better version of himself. However, there was still a lot that had to be improved at that time.
Austin overcame a tremendous amount of failure his first year, but never did he shy away from a challenge. He took any failures and he learned from them immediately, whether it was in the video review sessions the next day and we took it into the training. He was always trying to take past failures and eliminate them from his game. And from that, he grew from a questionable catcher from the media's eyes to one of the top catchers in the game, and we're all extremely proud of him.
A high percentage of catcher value can be lumped into their ability to receive, right? I think that's no secret. It's the foundation of everything that we do is to try to develop elite receiving catchers. I mean, there's no substitute for experience. I'd never say that that's not important, but I think where we've really kind of pushed all our chips in is trying to perfect the training environment, right? Trying to make the training environment as game-like as possible, which is something a lot of coaches strive to do, which is part of the reason like a lot of people behind the scenes had confidence that if we build the skill, right, if we build the engine, then we can say with confidence that we think Austin's going to perform at the major league level, even though he hasn't done that yet. And I think that's the approach we've taken with all of our guys is really hammering skill development, skill acquisition, and like creating an environment that does a lot of the coaching. And that's not to say that we as coaches are hands off and we stand back and don't coach. That's certainly not the case, but we try to create environments that have allowed us to speed up development, not in place of games, but really as a supplemental piece. Good. Those are money. You guys got to govern. I'm like trusting you guys to govern the intensity when we do this. Like I want to do it every day.
It's not an easy position to play. There's so much variance, there's so much physicality, there's so much mental capacity that's needed in order to play the position well. You're serving a whole entire pitching staff, you're deploying a game plan, and at the same time, you're involved in every single pitch, and you have to execute physically. So there's so many different dynamics and skills that are needed in order to play the position. And so I don't think there's anything else like it. People say it's like the quarterback of the defense. I think in a lot of ways that's true. I think it's also probably more representative of like the offensive line because you're protecting the quarterback, the pitcher. You're serving that guy. You're trying to make him his best. If you do your job really well, nobody's probably going to notice you.
I've said this before, I think the catching position is probably one of the most misunderstood positions in all of baseball.
I just think that the catching position is a different sport, like completely. You have to play both sides of the ball every day. Like you have to game plan for their hitters and their pitchers, and you have to be prepared for both. And I think just the mental capacity that it takes to be prepared to go out there and call a game for a starting pitcher like Garrett Cole or Max Fried or Rodon, like that alone takes as much mental capacity as you could think, and then having to go out there and get 4 or 5 at-bats against another team's ace, I think it's just a completely different sport mentally than any other position really on the field. There's no singular focus you can have, like it's such a broad focus, but you have to be singular in those broad focuses, if that makes sense.
Nice job.
I think my line's gonna be like
little more start middle.
Yeah, right? Because that one I started like inner third and it's like,
It just killed him.
yeah, that one.
Well, especially when you're ripping it, 2 strikes, you're going to get more movement. Like,
I gave myself like an arm side clear lane and then like throw it down that
and
lane.
as long as it's down,
Yeah.
as long as it's down, it's safe. You just don't want the one like we threw in the live, the 0-2 just spinner, you know?
Yeah, really good.
Like when you're trying to make it go down instead of just trusting it. Yeah, that was perfect. Really good lines there. That was awesome. I think what allows me to have the confidence to have the conversations like that with any of the pitchers on the staff or coaches, like, is because I know that I'm prepared and I know that like the work that I'm putting in and the work I'm putting in for them is because I want them to be the best and I want them to have success and I want to win. So 9 times out of 10, 9.5 times out of 10, it's going to be received well because I feel like I give off this energy that I want to help and I want to learn too. And whether that's them coming to me and saying, hey, this is what I saw, what do you think? And I give them my feedback, or they're saying like, hey, with this setup on your positioning, like maybe we can do this. I'm like, okay, great. I want to help you. I want to serve you. I want to be there for you so that we can win together as a group and as a unit. And I think that's where the relationship aspect of it comes into play, is like if they can trust me on the mound, like, and they can trust me to come to me after the game or before the game, like I think we'll be in a great position to go to battle against the hitters that day.
Bang. Let's ride. Yep.
I told Austin last year, as the playoffs were happening, just how proud I was of him for managing and maximizing Garrett and Carlos and every pitcher on that staff. Like, he understood what he needed to say and when he needed to say it in order to maximize the guy on the mound's abilities and execution on any given night. And I'm just so proud of him for learning every single pitcher that is on that staff and finding the solutions to get the most out of that guy. And sometimes it takes him to, you know, push them and challenge them, and sometimes it takes a listening ear and everything in between that.
Welcome back to my food channel. I now have a pure green smoothie. Stay tuned. I don't think I've cooked for myself in a while. I'll cook breakfast, but that's a couple eggs on the stove and a piece of toast maybe. But I just find that it's very easy to order a full meal without having to prepare it myself and then clean it all up after. I'm very okay with that. People say it's satisfying to cook for yourself or healthier. I feel good. I feel good about it. I feel good about not having to cook or clean, so it's good. Good with me. If you like to cook, that's great. If you like to order food, I think that's better. So that's where I stand on that.
I think he's fun. I think he's light-natured. You know, he's a guy that I think people want to be around. You know, I think he's engaging to a lot of different groups, right? Not just his closest friends, the Volpes of the world, but I think he's really inclusive to getting to know all of his teammates on a personal level. And I've been impressed just kind of in the background watching him navigate those relationships and earn the trust and respect of his teammates as quickly as he's been able to do. I think speaks to how important those relationships are and how invested he is to show people who he is and to,
Nice.
you know, to take time to learn about, you know, different people that come in and out of our clubhouse. I enjoy my time with him. Every day is fun. Every day is a kind of a new adventure.
See, you almost forgot.
It's been such a, like, truly a joy getting to coach Austin. I mean, I love him with all my heart as a person. He's so coachable. If you give him feedback, he'll take it in well, and he'll give me feedback. Like, he coaches me all the time, and like, he holds me accountable. And so it's just a really healthy relationship in that regard.
I think it comes down to a few things for me. Like, I think it has to start with like how I was raised with my parents. One, the confidence they instilled into us to feel like we could do whatever we wanted to do, really. Whatever we put our mind to, we could do. And then the discipline and respect that they kind of demanded from us. I think that is something that allows me to receive kind of some of that feedback and not take it personally or you know, if someone's like, we think you could do this better, I think I'm going to be able to go and do that even better than they think.
Between your minor league numbers and last year on first step.
Because I had you at first base telling me to do the first step.
Crushed it. Big time. Better.
Coach.
One of the best on the team right here.
When it comes to Austin, like I recall a Zoom interview we did with Austin just to try to get to know him personally and an opportunity for us to kind of present to him how we thought we could help him improve.
They said yesterday that your scouting report of me was that I was the worst catcher in the draft, but you liked my face.
Who said that?
Cody. They said that's what they said, and then they asked me to scout myself.
We did a Zoom. Remember the Zoom call?
Yeah.
I did like your face.
That's what they said. That's what they said you said.
He's pretty authentic, right? Like what you see is what you get. Maybe the thing I enjoy the most is just how transparent I can be about good days, bad days. And so he's extremely coachable in that way and fun to coach because you don't have to hold back, right? You know, the gloves are off and you can be extremely honest about the good, the bad, the ugly, and whether he agrees someday or disagrees, he can process it and pretty quickly kind of make adjustments.
As a catcher last year, I felt like the way I was able to help the pitching staff, and now going into this season, like looking to improve on that and just really focusing on that extra 1% every day of focus and intensity that will hopefully help me improve this year from last year.
Coach. And you wanted a hug?
No, a hand hug.
We gotta lock it in.
Do you like these new cleats? They're the new model this year. They're kind of light. I don't know how.
Feeling fast?
I was feeling really quick and I didn't do any warm-ups, so.
Okay, where are you
I felt like that way this morning doing sprints too. It's a good feeling.
Base run.
Am I just looking straight in?
Yeah.
Okay. My name and then catcher for the Yankees. Okay. I'm Austin Wells, catcher for the New York Yankees. Epic Games, Rocket League is the best game you've ever made. Did they make Fortnite? Yeah. Don't care about Fortnite. Rocket League. Yeah, I don't know, something about it. It's just so relaxing, but not at the same time, and you can really, really get angry or be really happy. It's the beautiful game with cars.